Welcome to Oerlikon's Crane and Hoist training. Today we will learn how to properly operate cranes and hoists throughout the facility.
In order to become an authorized operator for cranes and hoists, you must attend this training, take an exam, and receive hands-on training. There are three basic types of cranes here at Oerlikon: overhead bridge cranes, gantry cranes, and jib cranes. Overhead bridge cranes in the tooling and the facings department. These cranes move along a bridge beam supported by two opposing rails. A crane trolley with a hoist moves along the bridge. With any crane, it is critical that you never raise the load higher than what is needed to safely move that load. Never work under a suspended load or allow anyone to walk under a suspended load. A gantry crane is a crane built on top of a gantry. Gantries are a structure used to straddle an object or a workspace. A jib crane has a horizontal jib on which a trolley moves that bears the load. Hoists are devices used for lifting or lowering a load by means of a drum or lift wheel around which rope or chain wraps. It may be manually operated, electrically or pneumatically driven, and may use chain, fiber, or wire rope as a lifting medium. The load is attached to a hoist by means of a lifting hook. It is important to know the load rating capacity of the crane and the hoist that you are about to use. It is even more critical to never exceed that capacity.
There are multiple different types of crane inspections required under OSHA law. Initial inspections are performed prior to the installation of any new or significantly altered crane to ensure compliance with OSHA crane regulations. Frequent inspections are conducted daily by the operator and monthly by the HSE department. Periodic inspections are performed by a third-party contractor. At the start of each work shift, operators must perform the following steps before making a lift with the crane or the hoist. First, you must test the upper limit switch by slowly raising the unloaded hook block until the limit switch is tripped. You must visually inspect the hooks, load lines, trolley, and bridge as much as possible from the floor or the operator station. You must test the direction and controls for both the bridge and trolley travel. Test the emergency stop button on the pendant. And lastly, test the hoist brake to verify that there is no drift without a load. If any of these fail, you must lock and tag out the crane until repairs can be made.
During your inspections, it is important to look at the slings and chains and make sure there is no damage to these. When inspecting sling ropes, look for any damage such as cuts, punctures, knots, or broken or worn stitches. When inspecting chains, look for corrosion, nicks or gouges, stretched links, or twisted, bent, or cut links. There are multiple styles of pendants in the facility. You will learn how to use them during the hands-on portion of your training. When moving a load, avoid distractions that divert your attention away from the safe crane operations. You must focus on the task at hand. Do not move a load over people. Never allow anyone to walk beneath a load. Do not allow any work activities to take place under a suspended load unless the load is supported by blocks or jacks and are rated to hold the suspended weight. If a load cannot travel close to the floor, only raise it high enough to clear the objects in the path of travel. Do not leave the controls when the load is suspended. Know the load rating capacity of the crane. Do not exceed the load rating of the crane or the load rating of the rigging hardware. The load must be secured and evenly balanced in a sling or lifting device before being lifted. Avoid sudden stops or starts. This will prevent shock loading, which can overload the crane. Ease the load slowly up into a stop. Always follow the manufacturer's guidelines to safe operations. Hooking a crane or hoist, remove all slings and accessories from the hook. Return the rigging device to its designated storage rack. Raise the hook at least 7 feet above the floor. Store the pendant away from aisles and work areas or raise this 7 feet above the floor. And place the emergency stop switch in the off position.
Thank you for completing this portion of the training. Your next step is to pass the crane and hoist quiz. A score of 80% or higher is needed in order to pass.